Now it's easy for him to talk to us without the noise. Your vessel needs more attention. Your marriage, it needs attention. We are able to balance ourselves, balance our family, and still be doing ministry. That's how the Lord has ordained us to do ministry.
We're on the topic of you being an author and
Yes.
us being co-authors.
And right. So me being an author, and now we are co-authors.
We just collaborated on a project for couples.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, for you.
For you.
Right. What's the name of the book?
So the name of our book is Growing Together, and it's a couple's guide for making intentional connections with each other.
Right.
It's not a novel.
Right.
It's not a novel. It's a workbook.
Right.
Practical.
You read.
Mm-hmm. You work
make,
on things together.
Right,
there are activities there.
Right.
Points, questions. So it helps your relationship.
Right.
And I know there are a few persons on right now. You're thinking, I could use that book. Click on the link below.
Yes.
And it's going to take you right there.
That's right. That's right.
So we are excited. We're excited.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So it will be available on Amazon. We will have it on
Stand Store.
Stand Store.
Stands.
It's going to be in the description.
Yeah,
we'll add
just
all
check the links
all
below.
the details in the description.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead, check it out, get your copy. And we will be coming to you with a series of books, maybe.
Yes.
We have a lot to share.
And I can tell you the weirdest thing, being in this new space, not knowing anyone around us, the Lord, in the 3 years, we're able to, 2 couples found us. And 3 couples actually found us. And we were able to help and pray over the 3 years. And we also learned from them.
Yes, that's true.
With their struggles.
That's true.
You know, so there's so much to impart.
Yes.
And we are so excited to start this journey again with you, because what we knew 3 years ago, it's that plus more.
Plus more. Yep.
And it has helped us, and I know it's going to help you.
So we just started talking without a greeting. Did we say hi? Did we say hello?
We did. Okay, so for those who don't know who we are, I am Diane.
I'm Nash.
And we have been talking on this podcast since 2020? 2020. We've been on this podcast, and how it started, we were on our anniversary vacation.
We still have not posted that video.
No, we have about 3 videos we haven't posted, and we're going to post it. We're on the anniversary vacation, and the Lord told us that we should go ahead. At that time, it wasn't even a podcast.
Yeah, we just had our phone in the car. We're just recording.
Yeah, he just told us we need to start this ministry to help couples and to tell them about our journey.
Right.
And at that time, we were like, we don't really want to talk about it.
It was scary. It was scary because we had so much going on, and we just didn't know if we wanted to expose all that we're dealing with.
We just didn't.
How do you talk about stuff without giving away too much information?
Yes.
Without maybe burning relationships?
Yes.
You know, and that was the biggest challenge.
Yes, but how we got our confirmation, we posted a very, very short clip. We're at the hotel.
Right.
And we posted something, and then immediately persons were messaging me and him, are you guys gonna do a podcast? You doing a marriage series? You guys should do it. We can't wait. And we're like, we didn't even decide. We were just, kind of pushing back to the Lord, like, well, are you sure?
Right.
Are you with us? We don't know. And then it happened. And
it sure did.
Sometimes the Lord takes you on a journey, and he also puts you on a hiatus.
Yeah.
And it's along the journey where you have to rest. And we got that rest. We got that time. And now we are in full gear.
So the hiatus happened, but how did you deal with the change? change,
Yeah.
how would you say the change affected you as a person and ultimately us as a couple?
I'm a family girl. I like being around family, people. I've always been that person. I've done my personality style several times, and I am a full-blown peacock. If you don't know the personality styles, you can look it up so you can test your style. I am not used to this. I'm not used to not having my comfort. Like, this is my base. When the Lord took us out of our home country and moved us to a new place without any connections, there's no one here that we can say, oh, we can go to. That was the hardest thing. Yes, while I can call someone, we can't physically go anywhere.
Let's put it this way. There's no one here that we knew prior to coming here.
Correct. My career change was amazing. It was a blessing from the Lord. It was a promotion. It was everything I always wanted. But I had to move. And while we were excited at first, when we got here and we're here living, we're like, oh my goodness. Like, for example, simple things. If we wanted to do a date night outside of the house, who would we leave the kids with? Right. Well, not my son, but my daughter. So we always had that support of grandparents and, cousins and siblings, aunts,
whatever.
We just didn't have that anymore. Mm-hmm. So the hardest thing for me was to disconnect and have that realization that you don't have that anymore. And it was hard. In addition to a church family, I'm a church girl and I'm a family girl. I've always been a church and family girl. And that was the hardest thing that I had to deal with for this change.
Right.
What about you? What was your hardest thing?
It's a little bit of the same, and it's a little bit different at the same time. Mm-hmm. You know me. I am good once I have my computer. Yes. And I have the internet.
So for him, you're an owl. Personality style?
Yes.
Yes, you're an owl.
Yes.
Yes.
So I can be by myself and be okay with it, but at some point, everyone needs somebody.
Yeah.
So being by yourself does not mean that you're just going to be a total recluse. At some point, you're going to need that connection. Mm-hmm. And a few people have kept in touch.
Yes.
And I must say that I really appreciate that.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
You know yourselves.
Yes.
Prayers. We're not going to expose all that.
Yes.
But we appreciate you.
Sending us food from home.
Oh, food, the care packages. Oh my goodness. Yes.
That was, you don't even know.
The snacks.
You don't even know.
And the curry and
yes.
the jerk seasoning.
No, the oxtail seasoning. Right? Listen, you don't even know. You don't even know.
Oh yeah.
Brought us way back home.
Yeah. But for me, the change, it was good in a sense because it caused me to discover parts of me that I did not even know. And you mentioned my newfound passion. I've always been in tech, maybe 10 years prior to coming here. But coming here, I found a new niche in tech.
Yes.
And that's cybersecurity that, I didn't know I would be this passionate about.
Yes.
So that forced me to go back to school and develop myself a bit more.
Yes.
So that challenged me, because coming from running a business, we're focused on building that company. Then we just had to uproot and come here. Here I am now being forced to go back to study, and after studying, to align myself with people who are already doing this. This is something new for me.
Yes.
So it means that I'm going to have to now get a job.
Yes.
That change was huge.
Yes.
But it was just a logical thing to do. And I must say that not being in an office for maybe 5 years?
I think it's more than that. Yeah.
Since 2017 to 24. That was quite the stretch.
Yeah.
Having to go back in office, that whole process was quite interesting.
I'm happy you mentioned school because that was in itself.
That was a journey. But it's still going on. That journey continues.
Yes. When he just started studying, then of course everything else changed also in our lives.
Again, another change.
And then dealing with that, my career, this newness, the kids. So it was a lot to handle, and we just could not pour into our audience with all this happening. School is still going on, studies are still going on.
But it's a little bit more streamlined now than it was then. It was a lot of chaos back then, you know. So I think I have a little bit more control.
And that's what I like that word.
Yeah.
I like that word. Control and clarity.
Right.
Control, clarity. We have some good words coming out. I should actually be making my notes.
Yeah.
Control and clarity is two things so far that we can identify that we gained in this hiatus, you know?
Right. And comparing this to what was happening before, that control, that clarity was not there because we were involved in a lot of things, but these things were not things that were specifically or personal projects.
Correct.
So we did not have the choice of not doing this at this time, but doing this at a later date.
Yes.
We had to do everything on somebody else's time, according to someone else's calendar.
Correct.
Or their, you know.
Correct.
So now we're able to do things how we want it, when we want it.
Correct. What we found out when we made, when the Lord made space and room for us, opportunities came. And we're like, well, where was this? Where were you? Where was it? Just couldn't happen. It just could not happen because we were not at the place to receive it.
Right.
We could not receive it. It was probably there, probably knocking.
I believe it was.
And we just couldn't, we just didn't perceive it.
Yeah.
That's the word of God.
Yeah.
He's making streams. He's making rivers in the desert. Don't you perceive that he's doing a new thing? And we didn't perceive it until
we reinvented ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I want to hold on to, and I want to share with you that sometimes what it takes is you reinventing yourself, and when that happens, you'll be surprised the doors that open. Just unplugging from the norm, from what you're used to, from your comfort zone, and tapping into a new stream, you know, making new connections, plugging into a new network. You realize that the way that you were used to things being, it doesn't have to be that way. I think one of the greatest things for me was I discovered that in life there are doorkeepers or gatekeepers, but a gatekeeper has two jobs. And one job is to open up, to let you in, or the other is to keep you out, to close that door, to keep you out, or that gate. And for most of our journey, we've experienced gatekeepers who would close that door to keep us out. You don't need this. They decided for us.
You don't need it.
You don't need this.
We only see you as this.
So you don't need this. You have that. You don't need this. So this is not for you. So I'm gonna close the door.
Because they believe they've already titled you, labeled you, and put you in a box.
And one of the greatest things that I can take away from this newness is that people who do not see you as the boy who's related to this person or that person, but they see you for the value that you bring to the table, they are more open to being the gatekeeper or the doorkeeper that says, come in. Take a seat at the table.
Is there?
There's enough room.
Is
you
there.
sitting at the table does not take anything away from you.
I think that's, my husband is a very wise person. You are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I told him when we met over 17 years ago, when I started talking to him, and I tell him all the time, I said, when I met you, you were the most brilliant person I've ever met. And I tell him all the time that you are still the most intelligent, smart, brilliant person I've ever met. He's still the most brilliant, most intelligent person I've ever met. There's something that he says all the time, and I said to him, it stays in my head rent free. Two things can be true at the same time. And I have learned to hold on to that. Not because we're at this time in our life where we faced uncertainty, we faced doubt, does not mean it's not the Lord's will.
Right.
And we had to get to a point, me more than him, where I would say, okay, let me accept that this is my new life.
Right.
Because I was always looking for, okay, this is what's happening. When does my normalcy return? When does what I'm used to return? And the Lord never answered.
Because I got a word for you.
Tell me the word.
I'm doing a new thing.
Don't you perceive it? See what he did? I took my idea and just like said it. Yeah.
Yeah. Feeding from her word. Yes. Because her cup is overflowing.
There you go. We're having church.
So, it's ministry, right?
I can tell you, when we learn to accept that this is our new life and that what we knew before is not coming back.
Right.
If it returns, it's not as how we knew it. We had to learn to let go of what we thought was our forever life.
Right.
And the sooner we let go of that, then the Lord started putting people in our lives.
Right.
For example, the first person that bought my book, the very first person that bought my book was someone I never expected. She is an influencer. She's also her husband and her, they're a power couple. She is someone that I look up to, I respect. Listen, this is someone that doesn't know my past.
Right. Someone
I met within my time of this newness. And she was just like someone I look up to and I would respect, and she would pray for me. She bought my book. And when she bought my book, she not only bought my book, she knew that my husband was the one that designed, edited, etc. She's writing a book and she's now relying on him to assist her. And so we're talking about open doors.
Yeah.
The Lord putting us with people that are on a different vein than us, not knowing our past, but knowing that she has her wide network and she bought that book to sow it in my life.
Right.
That was a seed.
Right.
And then she's now speaking with Nash and also sowing a seed.
Right.
And this is someone that doesn't really need to buy a book.
Yeah.
She's also talking about prayer, church, couples. She's already an influencer.
She has her own ministry.
Exactly.
Huge
ministry.
Yeah.
And again, it's someone that we connected, and she has been pouring and fostering us.
Right.
Now, if I did not accept that,
the change,
if I did not accept the change, then
you'd have missed it.
I would have missed that opportunity.
Yeah.
To see others, to branch out into different streams, I'm going to say.
And to see that there is another way.
There's another way.
Because the truth is, if I don't mean to interrupt, but I will.
But he needed to.
Yeah,
yes.
I needed to. So having experienced what we experienced over the years, we got a little bit bruised.
Yes.
Having, gone through some of those experiences.
Yes.
And we just thought that this is, for me personally, I know that, that statement that says, hurt people. It is true.
It is.
I am guilty of that. It's not right, but I'm going to say it. I'm just going to be transparent.
Yes.
Right? Because I have been hurt so much. It has caused me to be on the defensive.
Yes.
And someone would come along having nothing to do with the previous situation that caused me to bleed.
Yes.
But here comes this person, and out of maybe not intentionally, they may just out of carelessness maybe may poke me a little bit in that spot where I'm bleeding, and I turn into this ugly person.
Yes.
Not because maybe you were just, it was an innocent jab, but here I am now turning into this ugly person and reacting in a way that you're like,
Yes. Yes.
And I found that I carried that for a while.
Yes.
I just did not like the version of myself.
Yes.
Then I did not like it.
Yes.
But because of the many hurtful situations that you had to just take it with a smile.
Yes.
And you expected to take it with a smile.
You were in leadership. And a lot of individuals relied on you.
Right.
Relied on you to provide that word, that prayer, that comfort. But also, you were hurting. And when in the 3 years here, that's one of the many conversations that we had. And I would tell him, I would tell him that the person I knew years ago has changed.
Right.
And me explaining to him allowed him to see that, yes, he has. Of course, it didn't happen overnight.
No.
He was like, no, I haven't changed. No,
I have not changed.
No.
I am who I am.
No. And eventually, he got it. Like, you have.
Yeah.
But is this the person you want to be? Is this the Nash you want to be?
Right.
So again, control, clarity.
And it took a different experience to bring me back to the person that I want to be.
Yes.
Because then I realized that not everyone is projecting hurt.
Correct.
And as I mentioned before about the gatekeeper, that there are those persons who stand at the door and are just there as a barrier.
Yes.
Then you have those who are there to unlock and grant access. And having experienced access, it's a different experience. I just didn't know how to wrap my head around it.
Yes.
It just felt weird.
Yes.
You just didn't know whether it was genuine or not.
Yes.
So I struggled with that too,
And these are people that don't know you. Like, the people that they don't know who Nash is, they don't know his past, they don't know he's from, wherever. But because you're already prepared. Prepared to be on the defensive.
Right.
Yes.
And again, back to what I mentioned before, here you're experiencing this new thing and realizing that people are who they are because of their experiences. So maybe the environment that we were used to is that way because of previous situations that they're still healing from. But here we are realizing that we can heal and we can move forward without guilt weighing us down.
Talking about guilt, that was one thing I struggled with also, because I felt that I have abandoned and let people down. So when my job took me away from our hometown, I had to relieve all of my responsibilities in ministry. So for those who know, for those who don't know, I was youth president. I was a deaconess in my church, on the praise team. Not only that, I was a minister, and I enjoyed pouring into people. I enjoyed walking in that Sunday and the Lord giving me a word, and the Lord allowed me to lay my hands and delivering so many people. That was a part of me. And when my life shifted, I struggled with guilt. I felt that I have let these people down. I, being a vessel of God and helping people in their journey, I felt that I did the horrible thing of not continuing to do that. And it took me a while to accept there is power in accepting God's will. Even if it doesn't look no, how could God move me? How could this happen? I was doing his work. I was doing his will. This was a part of ministry, but that road, I've already walked the road. And when I accepted what he's doing, he started showing me a new road with the same effect.
But, it shouldn't be that you're made to feel guilty for what God is doing in your life. It should never be that way. There's an error there somewhere. I'm not sure where it is, but it's there somewhere. Because God will transition a man from his hometown and take that man into Egypt, Joseph.
Yes.
Because if he stayed among his people, who are God's people, he could not become governor. Because what would be there for him to govern? Let's talk about it. There's nothing there for him to govern.
Nothing there. And then there's a greater impact. Still doing God's work. But a greater, wider impact.
You're in this small pond and there's this greatness already on your life. And for you to embrace and experience, step into all of this, I have to move you to a place where you're not seeing as I said earlier, as your past.
Yes.
You're not seen based
Yes.
on whom you were
Yes.
born to, family
Yes.
that you're attached to.
Yes.
But you're seen based on the value that you bring to the table.
Yeah.
So I mentioned Joseph.
Yes.
He was appointed not because of the dad, not because of the mom that raised him, but he was promoted because of the value that he brought to a gatekeeper, to someone who had the authority to grant him access.
Yes. Yes.
So he was in the situation.
Yes.
They didn't know of his past.
Yes.
Like your situation right now. This person does not know of your past, but see your value now. And they're like, you know what? I need this person to sit at this table because they have a lot to share with this room.
Yeah, it's amazing. I don't know if I would have ever launched my book if I was still in my normalcy. That book came out of hurt and crying and disappointment, feeling misplaced. I think that's the big feeling misplaced, and trusting God in the process. I don't know if the book would have been there. And now my book has reached so far, and it's helping more women than I could ever help in one small space.
That's it.
So still learning, still on the journey, but for the past 3 years, we are just letting you know how much change has happened in our lives and why we're able to now talk about it and be at a place where we're okay.
Yeah.
We're okay, and we now have clarity.
Yeah.
In our marriage, in our family life.
Which is very, very important. Having clarity in your marriage. That is super important, because a lot of marriages fail, not because of the individuals within the marriage, but because of the noise around it.
Yes.
We may not see eye to eye on something. However, after a few hours, after a few minutes, without the additional external pressure and input, and you're now able to look at the situation and say, you know what, this was bad. However, here's the solution. We got to move on. We got to fix this, and we got to move on.
Yes, because when we come home, we come home. After we leave work and everything else, when we come home, we come home. And the kids are asleep. The house is very quiet. We're able to understand, okay, what happened today. We're able to give each other some time also, some space. And it's in the quietness that we're able to understand and relate. It has also allowed us to consistently keep our altar of prayer.
Oh yeah.
We have a dedicated time every day that we go to our altar together and we pray. That has been a significance in our lives. Did we pray before? Oh yeah, we prayed all the time. We prayed all the time. But now it's very personal.
Yeah, it is.
It's very personal, and it has strengthened us, helped us. So in saying all of this, we are not perfect at all, but what we are happy to express ourselves to you, to let you know we have also gone through things. We are still going through things.
That's right.
And we're hoping that with our story and hearing how we have taken our time to accept change, and we don't know what change is happening in your life. And if you're struggling to accept it, but the sooner you accept it, you'll understand the power, because not only your mind and your emotions all come into alignment, but the will of God is the most important thing in your life. So there is power in accepting where you are, accepting the will of God. Even if it looks very different than what you're used to. There's power, and the power you get is seeing things clearer, seeing that path clearer. The power you get to communicate to your spouse, it's amazing. The power you get back in your family life, the power you get back in loving each other. Again, because when there's guilt, Then it affects the marriage.
Yeah.
When there's uncertainty, it affects the marriage.
Yeah.
When there is anger, when there is hurt, it affects it. It affects every aspect. But when you now accept that, Lord, this is what you are doing a new thing. Even if it took me, months for me to accept the new thing. Yes, the physical new thing. Yes, career change and moving.
Right.
But the new thing on a spiritual aspect, the new thing of taking us out of our normalcy.
Right.
It took a while.
Yeah, sure did.
We're now learning to accept, adapt, and we're seeing the benefit in our lives, in our marriage, with our kids. We do have a few people that would reach out to us for prayer. Right. And we see where our prayer for them has changed.
Yes.
Or encouragement has changed.
Right.
I see where this new clarity and control has allowed my brand, Hey Sis, Just Keep Walking, to be a brand that I hold now. And I have a group of people on my channel that I talk to and that I encourage out of this place of newness, out of this place of accepting, out of this place of having clarity. I can now pour into a group of people and help them also. Yeah.
There's power in trusting God's plan, God's purpose, God's move. It may not align with, you use the word, the norm.
Yes.
It may not align with someone else's plan for you. But if this is God's plan for you, He's going to do it. And we just have to accept it. It may be painful because I'm not going to say that uprooting and leaving what you've spent years to
that's
build.
All you knew. That's all you knew.
And you've helped to build.
Yeah.
Right? So it couldn't have been easy.
No.
It couldn't have been easy, but it was worth it.
Yes.
And that's not to say that, we're super comfortable and there's nothing going on.
No.
The truth is that it has forced us to cling to each other, to lean more on each other.
Yes.
And to show up for each other.
Yes.
Yes. And that for me, it's been a game changer.
I know.
It's been everything, really.
Yeah, I know. We have been each other's rock. How? When we're both feeling it, we're both in this. Yeah. But we've been each other's rock. Yeah. When one is uncertain, when one is going through a hard morning.
Oh yeah.
And just breaking down, the other is like, okay, we can do this. We can do this. Yeah. This is not going to last forever. There is a light there. And we always go back to the word. Remember, the word of God said, in the valley, He restores.
He restores.
Remember, the word of God said, He will plant you by the rivers of water. Yeah. That bring forth fruit.
In this season. And, so, that refuge.
Yes.
That refuge. I could only find good refuge in you because you have found refuge in the rock.
Yes.
You have found shelter in the rock.
Yes.
You have found, you just mentioned God's promise,
yes.
To plant us by the rivers.
Yes.
In a place where you have no choice but to bring forth fruit.
No choice.
You have no choice. He's planting you there.
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
and in trusting that when I feel like my story is done.
I know.
I can now lean on you because you have found a source, a stream.
Yes.
You found that shelter that you can now pour back into me and vice versa. So finding refuge is not just for the sake of it, but finding refuge in a strategic place.
Yes.
In a place where you know that this person is connected to the source.
Yes. Yes.
Because there are times when you need someone to have that hard conversation with you, not an abusive conversation, not abusive statements rather, but a word from the word.
From the word. Yes.
Right? That is hard to hear, but necessary to bring me back to reality.
Yes.
To say, you know what?
Yes.
This is not the promise of God.
This is not the
Why are you moping?
Yes. Preach that
when
word.
He told you that He has already gone ahead to make the way.
To make the way.
Now, if I did not have that relationship where we have spent years pouring into each other and building up each other, we would not be at this place where I need support and can lean on her to get it.
Yes.
I want to beg of our audience, sow into each other.
Yes.
Sow into each other.
You may not see the benefit now, but as I said earlier, he has said so many things in my life.
Yeah.
And it's months, sometimes years after, I'd be like, I remember this word you gave me, and I am now applying it to my life. I'm now applying it to my situation. I'm just happy that we learned how to support each other in real difficult times. I am happy we learned how to support each other. And, you may be wondering, like, how do you support your partner when you're both experiencing the same thing? You're both going through financial hardships. You're both going through issues with family, issue with kids. You're both going through the loss of a job.
Right.
How do you support each other? And there's one thing I know with him. He likes a very quiet space. And our house can be noisy. I'm always playing music or kids, video games, and I'm able to pull my daughter into a room or pull her somewhere with me for like 2 to 3 hours where he gets that quiet time. And my son, of course, he's 14, so he knows already, and that supports him. And then for me,
appreciate that, by the way.
Thank you. And then for me, he knows when I'm in my mood. He's like, I know what you want, and he knows I'm a chocolate person. Chocolate, sweets, and he'll just take it and like, here you go. So that is a good way in supporting each other. Or like I love to cook. I love to be in the house, and sometimes he'll just allow me not to. He'll say, okay, what do you need help with today? Those are things that we have learned. While we can't have this big support or have a word at this time.
Right.
But there is these little things that brings back your sanity. I want to say.
Yeah. I know that a lot of people, sometimes they're not interested in talking what's going through. But for those who are interested in talking, allow them to talk.
Yeah.
Just be that listening ear. Allow them to vent. But it's important that you kind of guide that conversation. Let's say you were that person. Well, you are that person that like to talk about your what you're dealing with.
Yes.
And what I've found over the years is that in that talking, there has to be that conscious decision to guide the conversation towards a solution.
Yes.
And not just to highlight the problem.
Yes.
I find that it is so common, and I honestly believe that this is a trap from the pit of hell.
Yes.
Where we dwell on the problem.
Yes.
We dwell.
Forever. We take forever just lamenting on the problem.
Yeah.
Always.
And that does not move the needle at all.
No, it
doesn't tip the scale in your favor.
It doesn't.
So why? So my take on that is to try to work towards a solution.
Yeah.
And in so doing, the conversation is guided in this manner. Okay, we are here now. We are at A and we want to get to Z. So we have a number of steps to take to get to Z.
Yes.
But if we stay at A and just complain about A, nothing happens.
Nothing.
So we wake up tomorrow morning, still at A, still complaining.
Yeah.
So doing something that will move you from A to B.
Yeah.
Or if you have the facilities to jump a few, maybe go to D.
Yeah.
You know, the point is moving from the spot that you're in.
Yeah.
Identifying the spot that you're in.
Yes.
And what will be required to change this. So making that move from A to anything but A is positive.
Yeah.
Anything outside of A means that you have made some moves.
Yes.
And if you've made that move, it means that you can make another move.
Yes.
And another move.
Yes.
And another move.
Yes.
And before you know it, it starts to snowball.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that momentum takes over.
Yes.
And moving, and you're feeling different now because you're achieving things.
Yes.
So you're no longer at the gate, but you're now making your way into the inner courts.
Yes.
You're making moves. You're now at the front door and you're knocking. And so the process is in motion.
Yes.
So that means that it wouldn't have happened if you laid at the gate and said, oh, I don't have a man to help me up.
Yeah. Yes.
You're sitting at the gate, beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just sitting and waiting.
Sitting
and
at the gate, beautiful. And seeing everyone going in, coming out.
Yeah.
You're hearing everything that's happening within the walls.
Yep.
You're hearing it.
Listen, we're guilty in that. In your own marriage, you in your heart are complaining. You're saying he didn't do this, he's not doing that. Look, he didn't say this. But at what point did you communicate? And again, whenever you're going through change, behaviors are gonna come up. And my advice is, do not take these behaviors as, oh, he was so rude. Oh, he was insulting. Oh, yes, it happened. Yes, we did. Yes, he said it. But we are in a pressure cooker and we're all feeling it. So are we going to get a little bit crazy? Yes, we will. Yes, we will. We're going to get crazy.
And that's natural.
For example, the other day, he was acting crazy. But I knew it was because he wanted to sleep. He was on, he was on the phone. But he was like, I don't want to sleep. Don't tell me I want to sleep. I'm not tired. I don't want to sleep. And he was on the phone with his brother. And I told his brother, let him go to sleep, please. Because all that's happening here, because he needs to sleep. And he fell asleep. He went to sleep. And he was better. Did I take his defense or his words like, oh my goodness, how could he? How dare? No. I took it in a sense of maturity. And I'm like, okay, what is the real reason? Because we're dealing with this. And it worked. So again, whenever you're going through change, things are going to look wonky. How do you step away from the wonkiness and now say, all right, it's a hard time. What are we going to do?
I think that segues into the power of acceptance.
Yes.
And it's not acceptance in that you're just embracing a negative situation and saying, hey, this is what it is. And, it's just what it is. So let's just stay here and be all miserable, right? It's acceptance that, you know what, this happened. There's nothing that I could have done to stop it. This is it.
Yeah.
This is just what it is. Okay?
Yep.
And when you get to the point where you can say it is what it is, that's a very powerful place to be, and I'll explain why. When you get to that point, you're like, it happened. I may have contributed to it, but I did not choose for this to happen, but it happened.
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
What are we going to do?
No. This is where you have to pivot. This is where you have to make the necessary adjustments to move from that situation into the next phase. And you do that by just knowing where you want to go, accepting that this is where I am now, but this is not where I want to be.
Yes. So we have so much to share. When I say so much, even though we have talked a lot already, we have so much to share. And big things are coming for Stay Entangled.
Right.
While we're on this hiatus, the Lord has revealed some things and has given us a mandate.
Right.
And we are about to carry out that mandate. So stay tuned. We are building a community.
Yes.
So look out for our videos on our platforms. It's Instagram at Stay Entangled. We're obviously on YouTube. We're on Facebook, and we are working on our TikTok as well. And we will be releasing as we go along different places where you can find us. Stores where we'll have our material, books, workbooks, merch. Eventually. Listen,
right?
It's coming. So listen, like, subscribe, and share, and comment below. Tell us what you want us to talk about also.
Yes.
Tell us what's going on with you since we have not spoken in like 3 years. Tell us how you're navigating your change, what you're doing as a couple, what you want us to talk about. Ask us questions.
Right.
We'll answer them. And we are ready. We are ready to go.
And you can send us an email at stayentangled@gmail.com. It will be posted in the description below. So feel free, share your testimonies.
We are ready to go.
Thank you so much.
See
you in the next one. Peace out.